for more on this. Pleased to bring in our expert panel, Republican strategist and attorney John Jordan with us. Also pleased to have former Trump attorney Christina Bobb, who's now over at Judicial Watch. You know, we all remember the hours and hours that was spent watching Judge Engoron. There were no victims. Deutsche Bank said we liked working with President Trump. So here we have the appeals court ruling in his favor. Pretty incredible. Now I think the bigger question is what happens next. Are they looked at for election interference, Christina? And also one of the things in this ruling, while they're just dismissing the monetary fines, the judge Peter Moulton says he wonders if there was the law that James actually used to sue Trump doesn't technically require someone to be harmed, had morphed into something it was not meant to do. That seems like lawfare, and they note it very clearly here.
100%. I mean, it's almost like this was never about bank fraud, but it was intended to impact the 2024 election. It was an attempt to create sensational headlines, which it did, in order to harm Donald Trump's chances of getting back into office in 2024. So I'll be curious. You know, Letitia James isn't, the brightest bulb in the room, so I suspect she probably will try to appeal this, but that could backfire. She could take it up to the highest court in New York, and they could end up further helping Donald Trump, which I actually suspect is likely. I think this is a great win for Donald Trump. I think Letitia James needs to be investigated for election interference, as well as the judge. This appeared to be a group effort.
I know you almost wanted to say Fonnie Willis. That's a whole other case, and we can get into that. Let's play a little bit of, I know. Well, we covered it for hours, John. I just want to play Letitia James, who not only is she in trouble herself as well under the DOJ, this was her campaign message. You have to wonder how much of this was exactly what she planned on doing if she was able to win, and she did. Let's play this super clip of Letitia.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass.
I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president.
We need to focus on Donald Trump. We need to follow his money. What is fueling my soul right now is Trump. This illegitimate president.
She has a DOJ investigation against her. There's claims of mortgage fraud. She could appeal this, John. But President Trump can also appeal the bigger case, since this was just the monetary. He may get the whole thing wiped out. What do you see playing out in the next few hours on Letitia James's front and her reaction?
Well, I mean, this is not just going to play out in the next few hours, Bianca. She has a decision to make whether or not to appeal this and to relive this and force these headlines to be played over and over in New York media when she has her own legal problems. Her aspirations to become governor, I think, are pretty much dead right now, even in New York. I mean, to be slapped like this by a New York appellate court. And with this, the coming attraction here is the criminal conviction. There's all kinds of problems with that, too. I mean, it's almost a near certainty under New York law that will be struck down. I think it's extremely, highly probable. You never say near certainty as a lawyer. But so the circus of disaster for Letitia James is just beginning. Question is, how much more does she want to wallow in it?
Yeah, well, she hasn't made a statement yet. There's some reports that she says she will appeal. We'll see if she continues her tough talk. Eric Trump posted his reaction, obviously the president's son, saying total victory in the sham New York Attorney General case. After 5 years of hell, justice prevailed. You know, John talking about how Letitia James' future definitely will be in question about what her future looks like, especially if there's these allegations that can be proven against her. The bigger question, too, in all of this, so President Trump now gets his $175 million bond back. I remember that was like hard for him to get at the time, too. But what does happen now when we have, does he have any other recourse? Because obviously he won the election. But what are some of his things if he goes all the way to the top of the New York appeals court? This was just a circuit court. He can go all the way to the highest appeals court, Christina. And do you envision him doing just that?
Well, it depends. I think part of it depends on how Letitia James responds. If she's smart, she'll cut her losses and say, oh, well, and try to move on and minimize the headlines, as John said. But if she takes it further and President Trump continues to get further success, I think it's laying the groundwork for malicious prosecution. I mean, she clearly brought this case against him for the purposes of the election, and she did tremendous damage to him. He still won the election, but he had to come up with $175 million in cash. I mean, it defamed him, illegally defamed him. It was not proper. So I think she opens herself up to some real liability here, both criminally and civilly. So she should be doing damage control right now and not trying to puff her chest out.